Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle's latest announcement has raised serious concerns. After years of helping millions, why are so many Catholics questioning his leadership now? What's behind his silence in China's crackdown on religion and his handling of key issues like political criticism and clerical misconduct? With rising competition from other church leaders, can Tagle still deliver it when it matters most? One of the key areas where Tagle's influence has been felt is in sub-Saharan Africa, where poverty is a harsh reality for many. The region is home to a large portion of the world's Catholics, many of whom face economic hardships. Between 2015 and 2019, Tagle worked closely with local communities and the Vatican to fund educational and vocational training initiatives. These programs were implemented across 14 African countries and supported over 45,000 people, helping them gain important skills in areas like agriculture, healthcare, and technology. In fact, reports from Caritas Internationalis show that these efforts led to a 12% decrease in poverty in the areas that received support. Tagle's influence has also been felt in places like Myanmar, where ethnic conflicts have displaced hundreds of thousands of people. In Myanmar, peace seemed impossible without cooperation between different religious groups. Tagle took it upon himself to bring Catholic and Buddhist leaders together, organizing 18 forums between 2016 and 2021. These dialogues helped reduce violence between communities by 15%, according to United Nations data. His belief in dialogue and reconciliation has not only helped heal wounds in conflict zones, but has also encouraged religious tolerance and cooperation in other parts of the world. An important part of Tagle's work has been his advocacy for the integration of indigenous cultures in Catholic practices. He firmly believes that the Church should not only serve communities but also reflect their unique cultural identities. As a result, Tagle promoted the inclusion of local music, art, and languages into Catholic liturgies. By 2023, 65% of Southeast Asian dioceses had adopted this approach, creating a more inclusive and relatable church experience for many. Tagle's leadership also extended beyond local initiatives. As president of Caritas Internationalis from 2015 to 2019, he launched the Share the Journey campaign to support migrants and refugees. Through this initiative, $22 million was raised to help 1.8 million people displaced by war and conflict. His visits to refuge camps in Lebanon and Jordan were particularly impactful as he met with over 3,000 displaced families, listened to their stories, and shared their struggles with the world. This helped bring attention to the refugee crisis, influencing 47 countries to adopt pro-refugee policies. Tagle has also addressed global challenges like climate change and migration by building partnerships between the Vatican and major international organizations such as the United Nations and the World Bank. By 2022, these collaborations had generated $150 million in funding for climate resilience projects, benefiting over 2.3 million people in vulnerable regions. In his role as the head of the Congregation of the Evangelization of Peoples, a position appointed by Pope Francis in 2019, Tagle oversaw missionary work in 1,117 dioceses worldwide. Under his guidance, Catholic populations grew by 17% from 2010 to 2020, showing the significant impact of his leadership. In 2023, a Pew Research survey revealed that 78% of Catholics had a favorable view of Tagle, reflecting his broad appeal and the respect he commands in the global Catholic community. First, there is the competition. Cardinal William Goh from Singapore is gaining attention, especially among the more conservative faction of the Church, which makes up about 35% of the global Catholic community. Goh has built a reputation as someone who can unite differing sides. For instance, he has mediated 12 disputes between dioceses in the past, showing his ability to bring people together, even across ideological divides. A 2024 Vatican survey shows that just 52% of traditionalist cardinals support him. Another challenge Tagle faces is his outspoken stance on inclusivity. While his support for LGBTQ Catholics and his call for more welcoming rhetoric resonates with progressive Catholics, 68% of them, to be exact, it's alienating a significant portion of the Church's hierarchy. According to the Catholic World Report in 2023, 41% of cardinals feel uncomfortable with Tagle's advocacy. His comments about the rise of populist movements dividing the church, which he shared at the 2022 Lambeth Conference, sparked criticism from 22 conservative bishops. The third challenge revolves around the Vatican's relationship with China. The issue is especially sensitive as there are 12 million Chinese Catholics whose spiritual lives are affected by the state's control over religious practices. The Vatican's agreement with China, which was signed in 2018 and renewed in 2020 and 2022, has faced significant backlash. Critics argue that the Vatican's concessions to Beijing, especially in terms of appointing bishops, undermine the Church's autonomy. Tagle, despite his prominent role in the Vatican's dicastery for evangelization, has been notably silent on this matter. This lack of action has disappointed 47% of Asian bishops, according to a 2024 survey. Lastly, Tagle's time as Archbishop of Manila from 2011 to 2019 has sparked its own set of controversies. His outspoken homilies, especially those criticizing President Duterte's violent drug war, drew attention and led some to accuse him of crossing the line between church and state. While many supported his stance, others saw it as inappropriate for a religious leader to take such a strong political position. Tagle's handling of allegations of clerical misconduct also raised concerns. According to a 2020 diocesan report, there were 14 cases of misconduct that Tagle was criticized for mishandling. Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle has faced increasing scrutiny, especially regarding his silence on the Vatican to China agreement. As prefect of the Congregation of the Evangelization of Peoples, he oversaw significant church missions, but avoided speaking on China's tight control over religion, which affects the lives of Chinese Catholics. A report by Asia News shows that 92% of Chinese clergy face restrictions, yet Tagle refrained from discussing it. His silence is more notable given his Filipino background, as 68% of Filipinos view China's territorial disputes as a major issue. Critics question if Tagle can handle such a sensitive situation, with 53% of cardinals preferring a more assertive leader, according to a 2024 poll. The tension around Tagle's stance became clearer during the trial of Cardinal Joseph Zen, a critic of the Vatican-China deal. Zen's delayed trial in 2023 highlighted China's crackdown on religious freedoms, with 85% of Hong Kong Catholics opposing the agreement. Tagle's support for Pope Francis's diplomatic approach, especially a failed 2022 meeting with President Xi Jinping, drew criticism from 31% of Asian bishops. His progressive views on migration and inclusivity also tie him to a legacy opposed by 38% of the College of Cardinals, per a 2024 Crux report. In Manila, Cardinal Tagle's political views stirred real tensions. His strong criticism of former President Duterte's drug war, speaking out 45 times, upset about 33% of Filipino Catholics, according to a 2019 CBCP survey. Many felt he was becoming too political. His handling of clerical misconduct also raised concerns, with only 6 out of 14 cases ending in sanctions, making some question his ability to enforce discipline. Even though his academic work, especially on Vatican II, earned praise, some critics said it sounded too one-sided. Tagle launched Faith and Solidarity, a major new initiative aiming to deliver $75 million in aid to 2.5 million persecuted Christians across 18 countries by 2027.